In England, they are required to describe everything that comes on.
Blind English people are so spoiled. Coming in 2020, the streaming wars will not be ending. HBO Max will be coming out, and this is going to be the interesting one.
With Verizon, if you are a unlimited data subscriber, you get it for free for a year.
Yeah, that audio description is terrifying. It is what it is. It's a brand new app. There were 10 million people on it, you know? So we
subtract one because I canceled mine.
9,999,999 people on it.
They're going to be calling their streaming service Peacock and everything.
I don't think that name's going to stick.
Well, that's what they're known as, the Peacock.
Nick and I will be at the radio station, AMI. It's going to be really neat to see how they do their stuff, how this radio station is, and how they record, how they, it's live,
I was telling my husband and my son, like, having these speakers is like a sighted person getting a brand new 4K TV.
We're in good times with audio description and this new revelation of the streaming services, the streaming wars.
Anyway,
How
3,
do you stream?
2,
1.
Da-dan! I can't do Star Wars music. Jeff will have to do that.
Bum, 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 ba-dum.
No, not that one. They don't play that at the beginning of the movie. That's Chewbacca.
Sounds like you're throwing up over there.
Yeah. Welcome to Blind Tech Show, that Blind Tech Show, Streaming Wars Edition. As if you ever listen to this show, you know I'm a big fan of entertainment, and with me today, I think I've got 2 other people that are big fans of entertainment. Serena, how you doing today?
I am fantastic. How are you, Brian?
I'm good. And Mr. Jeff Thompson, contrary to popular belief, he's still with us. He didn't kick it after the last show. How you doing there today, Jeff?
I'm doing pretty good, Brian. How are you guys both doing?
We're doing great. And, some people might say, even though we've never met in person, that we're friends. But even though we're talking about streaming wars, the friends I'm talking about, Serena, big rumor mill news. Friends may be coming to the new streaming service as a reunion show next year for HBO Max. I know you weren't a huge fan of Friends, Serena, but we're friends. So wouldn't you like to see the TV version of Friends?
Oh, it's so sweet that you think that we're friends. No, I'm just kidding. I do consider both of you guys friends.
We're Facebook friends, so does that mean anything?
You think we're Facebook friends?
I do. Oh, did you defriend me?
I didn't tell him.
You wouldn't have noticed. You don't even have my real last name. So
Serena, I'll be there for you.
I'm not really that excited about a Friends reunion because I watched it once and I've never watched it again. I don't watch it in syndication. I don't stream it. It's just not my cup of tea.
Well, Jeff, if you want to stream Friends, you only got about 6 weeks left, I believe, on Netflix before it jumps off of there. How about yourself? Were you a Friends fan, Jeff?
A lot of my friends watched Friends, and I did it so I could hang out with my friends a little bit, but it wasn't my cup of tea, but it was pretty good. I laughed. I was surrounded by it. That was one of the big shows for about 10 years.
You stole my statement, Jeff. I'm going to need you to be a little more creative.
Cup of tea?
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
Hey, this year I went back and I watched the entire series of Friends on Netflix. Really enjoyed it. Actually, there were times I was laughing out loud. I really did like that show. It's in my top 5 favorite sitcoms of all time. So I would be very thrilled to have a reunion on HBO Max if that happens.
Is it Jennifer Aniston that you really want more than Friends, or just Jennifer?
Yeah, Mrs. X. Fischler, yes. So, but we'll be getting into Jennifer Aniston here in a little. But first,
so I have a question for you though.
Shoot.
This will totally derail you, Brian. You'll get over it though. No, so I have an interesting discussion, and it might be cool to leave in there. We'll see what happens. But you mentioned it's in your top 5 sitcoms, so I'm kind of curious what else makes the top 5 for you, especially if it came to streaming services.
Good question. Number 1, and you got to remember, my dream job in life, if we were able to do what we could do, would be to be a sitcom writer. So I did come close. Jeff is being rude. Shut up, Jeff. So anyways, number 1 would be Seinfeld. Number 2, Big Bang Theory. Number 3, Seinfeld. Number 4, Night Court. And number 5, probably Mork and Mindy. Little Robin Williams there. He was so brilliant on that show. How about yourself, Serena? Do you have a top 5 or a top 3 sitcoms that you love?
I don't know if I'll be able to come up with 5, and they certainly aren't as well thought out as yours in like an order.
I've spent a lot of time on it. I remember I'm not fully employed.
Apparently. So King of Queens is like my all-time favorite, and I need it to come to a streaming service. You can't watch it like anywhere except for on TBS with commercials inserted all over the place. I would put Seinfeld up there. I could watch that. Curb Your Enthusiasm is a really good one too.
Yeah, that's
The Middle. I absolutely
hated
love The Middle.
Could not
I
get
love
into the middle. Maybe it's because I don't like kids.
I could watch that all day and be happy. And then, I don't know what my 5th one would be.
What about Everybody Loves Raymond?
But Fresh Prince is coming to HBO. I hate Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh,
with
how
a
can you hate
passion.
Everybody Loves Raymond?
I hate that show. Oh, I hate
Fresh
that
Prince
show.
was great. That premiered when I was in high school, to date myself. Jeff, I believe Green Acres premiered when you were in high school. What about you? Do you have a top 5 sitcoms or 3 sitcoms?
Well, Green Acres, Gilligan's Islands was Flintstones fall into place here, or is that just cartoon? That doesn't, that's
I'll
just,
allow it.
Okay, thank you. Because Barney Rubble, and I'll quote a movie, what an actor. You can't name it, can you, Brian? You can't name it, can you?
I have no...
Night Shift.
Night Shift, great movie.
Jeff, you're like 100 right now with your choices.
Is I Dream a Genie in there? I Love Lucy.
Bewitched.
There you go. Now you guys are talking. Cheers was pretty good too. Three's Company with John Ritter, and Mork and Mindy. I have to agree, that was pretty good, especially when Jonathan Winters came on. So
Jeff, did you still have vision when they moved from black and white to colored TV?
Did you even have a TV?
Well, we used to have to walk down to vaudeville. Better yet, I loved it when all of a sudden you had sound.
Jeff, do you find the talkie films hard to follow?
The first half of Castaway was awesome.
Oh, that movie is torture.
With no audio description.
All you hear is waves, and then he's yelling at Wilson for some reason.
Wilson! Wilson! I got through that movie. Somebody edited it down for just the dialogue, and I was done in 2.5 minutes. He was with Helen Hunt, then he was on an island. There was somebody named Wilson, and then he was back with Helen Hunt in 2.5 minutes. Anyways, the Audio Description Project, ADP. A lot of people don't talk about them. I'm surprised that they're not more widely known. This is a project by the ACB. I've been involved with them for several years. And one thing we want to put in, we're going to put a link in the show notes to them, because with all these streaming services coming out, they do a great job every week or every month updating what shows are being played where with audio description. Have you ever checked out the ADP project, Serena?
I'm putting it in the show notes right now.
What are you doing, Jeff?
I'm typing it into the show notes right now. Multitasking.
Jeff, did you take your medication today, Jeff? We're a little concerned.
No, because he's the king of annoyance,
To answer Brian's question before we were so rudely interrupted, I love the Audio Description Project. I actually have it on my Facebook feed to show me first. So anytime they post something, I see all their posts every single day.
Ahead of me?
Of course ahead. You're blocked. I told you.
You make one inappropriate comment about the way she looks in a bathing suit and you get blocked.
Yeah, that tends to happen, yeah. You're lucky that's all that happened, right? No.
Your husband liked something I wrote.
Who knows? I don't even know.
That was on your son's birthday. I wrote something very
You
nice
did write
to your
something fun. I don't even remember, but you did write something funny. I liked it too.
Wait. Remember the Grinch when his heart began to grow? Brian has a heart? His dog even disagrees.
Hi, Wes.
I'm glad we started this podcast out right away with people wanting to hear the streaming wars.
We'll be getting to that. But
Stay
Jeff,
tuned.
What are your thoughts about the ADP project and the great work they do over there?
Well, I think it's a great resource for people to go to learn more about audio description and which shows, networks are producing it. One thing that I would really like to see all these platforms that are providing the streaming services is to categorize the audio description. I mean, we have science fiction, drama, sitcoms. I'd like to see AD, audio description, as a category.
Well, Netflix does. HBO is non-existent with AD right now.
But the thing is, when you do it with Netflix, you don't get it in any type of format.
It's just random.
Yeah, it's
You're
just
right.
scattered. Yeah. It's like a messy room that you just tolerate.
That's the problem with Netflix. So I've sat down to watch Netflix and spent so much time trying to decide what to watch that then I've gotten tired and not watched anything.
The ADP project, besides just doing a great job of chronicling what's playing where with audio description, they also have links on how to contact certain studios and request audio description. HBO, Showtime, people like them that don't realize blind people. What year is this? It's almost 2020 and they still don't realize blind people watch TV at HBO or Showtime?
I bet you by the time we get to the streaming wars, it'll be 2020.
Jeff, you talk about negative Nancy and everything. I mean, wow. You just,
I'm in battle gear. I'm in armor.
You're just, wow. You're bringing the sauce tonight, young man. So, getting, as Jeff wants this to be a 4-minute podcast, getting to the streaming wars, the new kids on the block. Jeff, since you couldn't wait to get to talking about them, what are your first impressions of Apple TV Plus now that they're live and out there with their 4 shows?
I love it. I really like it. I really like that they came out with audio description in 9 different languages, and I like that they made it for the deafblind that they can, or the deaf, they have over 40 different languages of text that'll scroll across for them. So they really went all in on all their shows that they produced to make sure it's accessible and inclusive. And
40 different languages?
Are you on your microphone or did you fall away?
No, I keep
He's
turning
looking
it down
to the
and up.
right.
And now cough, Brian.
Did you say 40 different languages?
40 different languages.
Yet they don't have mine, Pig Latin.
Well,
Just
there you
leave.
go.
Just don't even.
Yeah. you can call them and talk to them, find out why.
Just insert a head scratch there when he says that.
Yeah. He's bald, so it squeaks.
Boy, okay.
And there's 2 series that I'm watching right now. C, which is really great with Jason Momoa. He's awesome. Then the other one is The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston.
It's Jennifer Fischler. You keep getting that wrong.
Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon. And we also have Steve Carell. And it's a great show. I won't wreck it for all of you, but I'm 5 episodes into this first season already, and episode 6 comes out on Friday. But the big thing is, it's accessible. I watch it on Apple TV, but I can get it on my Fire Stick and on my phone as well, my computers, everything like that. And it's real easy. $4.99 a month, pretty much seamless. I really like their audio description. And if you want to do it, once you play the movie, if you just click on your Apple TV or remote or do a single finger double tap and then quickly swipe to the right when you're on your phone, if you swipe to the right, you'll find audio settings and tap on that, and you can pick English AD, audio description, and that'll stay on through all your shows that you're going to watch in that mode. Same thing on the Apple TV. Do the same thing. Go to audio settings and turn it on. Pick your audio, pick your language. It'll say English, then AD. Yeah, it works really good. Accessibility. I give them a 2 thumbs up for their audio description out of the box, day 1.
How about yourself there, Serena? Have you gotten to play around with Apple TV Plus or check out any of their shows yet?
I have not yet, but my husband just purchased a new iPhone, and I believe that we'll get it for free for a year, but I have to figure out how to do that because we didn't purchase it from the Apple store. We got it from the cell phone carrier. So once I figure that out, I really want to watch C because I've been told that it's kind of like a Game of Thrones type thing. Would you say that's accurate, Jeff?
Yes, it is. And I had Joe Strecce. He's a assistant producer and blind consultant on the Blind Abilities podcast. And we talked about it. And yeah, it is a Game of Thrones-esque type of thing. And that's where Jason Momoa was on.
Yeah, and I just got around to playing around with it today. I do have a Apple TV Series 3, and after doing a reset, because I was having some issues after the update, I was able to get everything working perfectly fine and started watching the about 35 minutes into the first episode of The Morning Show. It's good, and it's very topical. It's very timely, and I am enjoying it, and I think it's going to be pretty good. And one thing that I'm glad to see, because there was that rumor that all of Apple TV shows were going to be G to PG. They definitely didn't go that route with the dialogue and everything. It's fairly adult. And like you said, Jeff, once I got going with it, I got it working on and something I did notice, I pulled up the TV app on the iPhone, and I noticed, sure enough, if I went to my Now Playing, the very first thing that was now there was the morning show, and it's 24 minutes remaining of the first episode. So it's great that everything syncs up perfectly across all your devices, so you could start watching on one device and continue watching on another and everything. So I think Apple really did a good job, and they've got a lot of interesting stuff. I know Spielberg's got some stuff coming out, I believe a sequel or a prequel to Band of Brothers. So they've got a lot of good talent on board, and I think a year from now, we're going to be talking some high praise about Apple TV Plus. I'm really looking forward to that. And a few days after Apple TV Plus dropped, I know Serena was quite excited that Disney Plus dropped. Serena, since you were the one looking most forward to that, I'm assuming you were one of the 10 million people that downloaded Disney Plus in the first day.
I did at midnight when a certain somebody texted me about it. I actually really am enjoying it, especially some of the older things that I watched when I was younger. Couple things, the iOS app is a little tricky. It's doable. Once you get the audio description turned on, it stays on. But it is a little bit tricky. I'm told it's an iOS 13 specific problem when you're trying to pick the show that you want to watch and things like that. We'll see. But on the Apple TV, which is where I watched it as well, it's actually incredibly accessible. It's a little confusing because they have the menus. It's kind of like Netflix where the menus are kind of on the side and then it opens up on the right-hand side, so it can be confusing and a little bit disorienting. But once you know what it's doing, it's really easy to find what you want to watch.
Yeah, I noticed on the iPhone, at least version of the app, whatever the first title was in each list, whether it was Star Wars, in the Star Wars list, it was Star Wars. By default, it always wanted to take you to the second title, Empire Strikes Back. I know another one was Snow White or something. It didn't seem like on the iPhone you could get to that title. And unfortunately for me, I noticed that a lot of the movies I might like to watch, such as the Marvel movies, didn't have audio description. The original Star Wars didn't. And I know both of those movies, if you purchase them in iTunes, have the audio described track. But I'm hearing there's already over 100 titles in the Disney app audio description, which is a pretty good start, isn't it, Jeff?
Yes, it is. I really liked it, especially because with Verizon, if you are a unlimited data subscriber, or there's a couple other hurdles you could do, you get it for free for a year. And so I went to my Verizon app and I clicked on the thing and got it all settled in and it had me log in. And so now they're going to defer because I did sign up for the trial, the $6.99. That's what Disney Plus is. And they're going to defer that for a year now. So I got it for free for a year. And I'm really liking it because it's on your phone and it's accessible enough, as you said. And the new Star Wars series that they're doing, the guy after,
The Mandalorian?
Yeah, I turned that on and that's audio described right out of the box. So that's good that their new stuff that they're going to have coming out. For Disney to go backtrack and do everything, but it is amazing. Little Mermaid, right, Serena?
Yeah, I am so impressed with how many really old titles that they either found the tracks for or they got redescribed. Like things like Cinderella, Snow White, the original Aladdin, Little Mermaid. Those never had audio description tracks like on the Blu-ray because we bought Aladdin and Little Mermaid on the Blu-ray and they never had an audio description track on them. So
Finding Nemo.
Well, that one did. That one always did have a track. But Cinderella, there's no way that had an original audio description track. They went back and did that.
Yeah, I'm not a Disney fan because, one, I don't have kids and I'm just not into animated films, but I really do have to commend Disney in doing a fantastic job especially for parents out there that may be blind or have a blind child. I think it's really spectacular that Disney has all these old classic films with audio description, and I think it may just be an oversight. The original Star Wars, I imagine within the next few months they'll probably get the described track out there. I think really Disney did pretty much do a fantastic job with both of these, Apple TV Plus and Disney Plus. I didn't see any major accessibility issues.
No, I mean, there's the bugs that are on iOS, but at the same point, I mean, Disney Plus on iOS, it's like literally version 1.5. And there were cited people saying that they were having some problems with connectivity and things like that. So it's
buffering.
it is what it is. It's a brand new app. There were 10 million people on it, So we
subtract one because I canceled mine.
9,999,999 people on it. I had no connectivity issues. I don't know if I just was lucky, But I think for having an app that launched with 10 million people downloading it, I think they did pretty darn good.
Yeah, and one thing I did notice with the Disney app, I didn't even have to select audio description. I don't know if it just recognized that I had that turned on my phone. Did you have to select it initially, or did you get films that had audio described tracks just automatically start playing, Serena?
I did have to select it in the player, because when you pick a movie, it starts playing and automatically goes to landscape. And then I just double tapped in the middle of the screen, and you have to do it a couple times because it is a little bit buggy, but once you turn it on, it stays
quick.
on. It's real quick.
You gotta swipe quick.
They'll fix it. I'm sure they will.
Even when you're gonna go back, takes me a couple times.
Well, the back is in the upper right corner, not the upper left. So that's why some people are having trouble finding it too.
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job out of the box. It's just they didn't have a lot of titles, that were to my interest liking. But obviously, I am in the minority there. Jeff, you're getting the Disney one for free, but you're going to keep the Apple TV Plus, keep paying for it?
Oh yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, for $4.99, I got 2 series that I'm watching right now: The Morning Show and C, and Dickinson. Emily Dickinson. It's her youth story, and it's quite modern. It's really modern. So it's really refreshing. I do like historical type of movies in a sense, but they put a neat twist to it. So it is pretty good. So I'm watching that too. It just seems to breathe some fresh air into my Apple TV experience. So I'm glad it's there.
And it's funny because Serena's got, I guess, with her husband getting the new phone, will have Apple TV Plus free for the first year. And knowing Serena, I assume you're keeping your Disney Plus subscription.
Well, we just switched to Verizon over the weekend, so we also have Disney Plus for free. But before we had that going for free, there was no doubt that I was keeping that subscription. We have a young child, and frankly, I'm probably going to watch Disney Plus even more than he will. So that one's going to remain. The Apple TV Plus one, we'll see after the trial runs out, and if I can figure out how to activate it. I doubt we'll be keeping that one, though.
I really like the idea that since they have such a backlog that they're probably going to be hiring some teams to be doing the audio description for them. And it really helped that area because a lot of these people gain the experience. The teams will get confident and stuff. And, other entities like HBO might be looking for teams too to produce and to get the audio description out so they can say that they're inclusive as well.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because there is a Facebook group called, I think it's just called Audio Description.
Yeah.
And somebody had posted to that group, I forgot his name, but he asked, what titles would you guys like to see described on Disney? And it seems like he's connected to Disney because people were suggesting things and he was like, yep, that's on the list. It's coming up. So they're obviously, they care about it for them to be connected in a group like that and to be asking the blind and visually impaired community.
Or you stumbled on fake news on Facebook.
No. So cynical, Brian.
Hey, some people, they have nothing better to do with their time. Well, we've got these 2 brand new streaming services, but we still got some oldies that we haven't discussed in a while. I am an absolute huge Netflix fan, watching shows without audio description such as Friends and Cheers. Netflix was the first one that got on board with describing all their original content, and they've really set the bar pretty high. So I definitely want to give them a shout out. I probably have like 120 different titles in my Netflix queue. I'm looking forward to a long bed stay or something where I could get caught up. But Serena, are you still watching the Netflix?
I watch it occasionally. Like I said earlier, sometimes it's just so overwhelming that it's like, I just don't feel like picking. But I kind of had a question for you guys regarding Netflix, though. So we all know the story of Netflix, how it started with them describing Daredevil for obvious reasons. But I always wonder, had Daredevil not been, the first thing that got described and had it not even been a Netflix title, do you think that they would have ever done the audio description? Because it had been years and years and years.
Definitely. I don't even think that was the first one.
It was.
I think that
was the very first one.
Was it the first one? Okay. It was the very first one. I think they would have been hit with a lawsuit like Hulu, which we'll get into in a little, had they not committed to audio description. Mm-hmm. Besides describing all of their titles, almost every series that I've watched with audio description is top-notch, the audio description that they do. And Stranger Things, which is one of my favorite shows, just phenomenal audio description.
Yeah, that audio description is terrifying.
Yeah. The Kaminsky Method, another one. I mean, the shows just go on and on and on. So many great shows that they have and everything that, even with Netflix losing a lot of, the Disney titles, the Marvel titles, they are producing such great original content that I think they're pretty safe. What about yourself there, Jeff? Where are you watching your Netflix, Jeff? Are you watching it on the iPad, on Apple TV, Fire Stick?
Most of the time I find myself on Apple TV watching it, but I can pull it up on my computer or my iPad, my phone. Yeah, if I want to catch something, like I saw this thing on Keith Richards, and that was really good. Stranger Things is good. You can really go back in their archives, and there's a lot of stuff there. There's a huge library there.
Serena, do you have a favorite Netflix title that you've watched with audio description?
Not anymore. I mean, I don't have anything that I'm really watching because I tried to watch the latest season of Stranger Things and I just could not get into it for whatever reason, and it was pretty gross the first episode. So.
Oh, it was great.
It was so
I love
gross.
Stranger Things.
Normally I binge Stranger Things when it comes out, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the problem is, like, honestly, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit, it's almost just overload with all the content that we have at our fingertips. It's almost too hard to choose what to watch.
Yeah. A lot of great content, which is why I'm 120 titles behind. I know Paul Rudd has a show on Netflix I want to check out, as well as Gwyneth Paltrow that has a show that came out on Netflix that looked pretty good. Another one of the old reliables that's done a great job with commitment to described video is Amazon Prime Video. And I know Jeff has a couple favorite shows on Amazon Prime Video. What are your thoughts with the status and where Amazon Prime Video is these days, Jeff?
I really like it. I like the shows that they're creating. Bosch is one of them. The Boys that you turned us on to. I'm looking forward to that. That'll come out probably in March, April. And then just after that, The Boys should be coming out with their season 2. I'm hoping they keep up their audio description. I don't think they backtracked because I don't think all the seasons of Bosch were audio described.
They are. No, they are, because I started from season 1.
Oh, okay. But they weren't at first. But
No, they weren't at first, so they did go back. They did go back, because I've only seen the first 3 seasons, and I know The Man in the High Tower, they went back and audio described.
Yeah.
Another show that I loved, what was that con artist show? Sneaky Pete.
Mm-hmm.
Loved Sneaky Pete, enjoying Jack Ryan as well on Amazon. They've really done a great job with their audio description, and again, it's top notch. Both Netflix and Amazon Prime are really doing a great job with their audio description.
I really think that they're taking over a big piece of the pie from Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm interested, going back to Netflix, by the way, The Irishman, the new Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino movie. I have to imagine it'll have audio description. It's going to be in the theater for about 10 days, and I believe it's coming to Netflix November 22nd or something.
Oh, wow.
Serena, are you an Amazon Prime member? I think you are.
I am. The next show I'm looking forward to watch, I just haven't had a chance to, is Modern Love. I'm told that's like a really, really good show. My only complaint about Amazon Prime is on the Apple TV app, how it self-voices.
Oh,
I
yes.
find it super obnoxious. I don't know why they can't just let it use the built-in accessibility features of the Apple TV. But other than that, it's definitely great. Like, I just want them to fix that one little thing.
It's interesting that you say that about the self-voicing, because I have the Toshiba Fire TVs, and I always watch my Prime stuff right there. It's just boom, right in front of you, and it's great. You know, I don't have to go into an app, so I don't have to deal with that self-voicing. But on the Amazon Prime Toshiba TV, Netflix is self-voicing, and I refuse to use the Netflix on the Amazon because of the self-voicing and everything. I don't know what it is, why Netflix
is that where, like, when you're typing something into it, like, and it goes, one.
No, Mr. Thompson, that is not what we're talking about.
It's so much louder than the regular audio and everything. You gotta
And it's a
constantly-
different voice usually,
Yeah,
and it's weird. Sometimes you'll have, like, when you first go into the Amazon Prime app on the Apple TV, you could have maybe 5 to 7 seconds where there's 2 voices talking.
Oh. No, I just know when you're moving through the remotes, you know, that's a whole nother podcast, the different remotes for the Apple TV and then the remote for
I can't figure out what half the
Fire
notes
Stick.
mean on the Apple TV. Direct touch, follow, and all that.
It's just interesting that some of the voices, like my Fire Stick, the voice that comes up is like when you're doing capital letters or something.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's wow. That was an odd choice. Having tested a lot of these services out the last few days on both the Fire TV and the Apple TV and the iPhone, I didn't have any issues logging into anything. At least those days are gone where you couldn't log into this stuff and everything.
We're in a good place right now. This is really cool that things are coming out of the box right away. And, you know, I'm sure they're going to backtrack and pick them up just like, you know, Amazon has done with some of the series and stuff. But right now it seems like a good thing in their company, whether it's their mission statement to be all inclusive, that's a major thing. If we do that, we're good. I think that's what they got to do, and that's what they're doing. So I like it.
Let's see. Did anybody else do the homework for this episode like I did? Because I signed up for the free trial of Hulu. Serena, I know that you are a fan of Hulu. Do you have a membership to Hulu?
Yeah, I've had a membership for quite a while.
And what are your thoughts about the navigation of the iOS app and as well as audio description on Hulu?
So the latest version of the Hulu iOS app actually does have the audio description in it now.
It just came out. There's another update.
Yeah, and then the navigation in the Hulu app, it's I don't want to say it's like
it's clunky.
It's not inaccessible. I wouldn't go that far, but like for each show, you're swiping 3 times kind of, just because of the way that they have things laid out.
I was like, well, how do I get to the next episode?
Yeah, but I really, really like Hulu because I think that their Hulu originals are better quality than the Netflix originals.
Castle Rock's one I want to watch. And well, something I noticed, because I just signed up, I got a free month subscription, which I'll keep. So I went to play Castle Rock, and I started playing it, and it just started playing with audio description. Then I looked at the ADP project list for Hulu and to see what shows had audio description. I saw that 911 as well as Family Guy had audio description. I could not get the audio description to play on either of those shows. I was pulling it up on the iPhone as well as the iPad and the Apple TV. I went to, I believe it was language or English or no, audio, pardon me.
So which season of 911 were you playing? Because
the most recent season 3.
The problem that is happening, and hopefully they get it fixed by January like they say they're going to, as things come to the service, because with Hulu, most things come the very next day after it's aired. Most of the stuff is not coming from the networks with the audio description tracks. So if you were to have played 911 the first season, there are description tracks on that. It's this current season that they don't have because for whatever reason, they're not getting them from the studios when they upload them the day after they air.
Now, I was playing season 1 of The Family Guy, and
season 1 of Family Guy probably doesn't have it because that was
when it was on Netflix,
forever ago.
It did when it was on
Okay.
Netflix. I could not seem to get, whenever I went under audio, it kept just listing 1, so maybe I have to play around with it a little more. But that's interesting to hear that. So do you think for a lot of the shows that have aired on network TV with audio description, and even though they're listed as having audio description, you think they probably just wouldn't play if it's the current season?
Yeah, the current season is going to be the one that gives you trouble. I did see that ABC has a few, I'm pretty sure American Housewife, those ones are getting uploaded, but I'm hopeful for the day that we can watch the same show that everyone else is watching the day after it airs on Hulu with the audio description. Yeah. That's where we need to get.
There's a bright star in the sky for you, Serena.
Hulu's not the only one, because I know there was a show Black Mirror. When the latest season of Black Mirror came
they had
out,
some trouble with that.
It took about a month for the audio described tracks to appear. I have no idea what the delay was, but yeah, that was great to point out. Hulu's doing a better job. I mean, they have, I believe, about 61 different shows with audio description now on Hulu, and you know me, I had some Hulu hatred there for a while, but they have till the end of the year, and hopefully they'll keep improving, and hopefully they'll get as committed. I mean, these are 3 huge services. You could never have enough time to watch everything on Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and those 2 newbies and everything. But next year we'll have even more choices, because coming in 2020, the streaming wars will not be ending. As we mentioned at the beginning, HBO Max will be coming out, and this is going to be the interesting one, because it's weird, because here in the United States, which is where the 3 of us are based, HBO does not have any described video, but our friends across the pond somehow seem to get Game of Thrones with audio description and some other HBO and Showtime shows with audio description.
Yeah, that's all tied to the awesome accessibility laws that they have over there. So in England, they are required to describe everything that comes on, with the exception of, I think it's live sports and news. So that's why when, you hear, well, over there, they get to have audio description tracks. It's because in order for them to even come on there without breaking the law or getting fined, they have to produce them for it.
Blind English people are so spoiled. Jeff, what about you? HBO Max. Like I said, if that Friends reunion happens, count me in. Or if they start putting audio description to some of their older titles, because, I was able to see when The Sopranos was on. Boardwalk Empire, I know in England that was another show that had described video. But what about you? Do you watch any of... you seem like you were probably a Sex and the City fan.
I just loved all the sitcoms that were on HBO, Brian.
Curb Your Enthusiasm and and
they had some good stuff. HBO to me is every time because I'm a Comcast, they have the long weekend of HBO free. It is kind of neat to sift through it and see all these movies that, there's not just one channel for HBO. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you can go through. And a lot of stuff are playing, a lot of older stuff, and you just kind of smile and go, wow, that was a long time ago. I don't know. I'm not really too excited. I don't know why HBO just doesn't go on to all these other ones,
Now, everybody wants to have their own service.
And one thing to think about, too, is HBO Max is not going to just have HBO content. Going back to one of my all-time favorite sitcoms, they are going to have The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is really weird because you would think that Peacock would have that, but HBO somehow got the rights to that. So there'll be a lot of other things on there.
Having worked in Hollywood, that was something that I always found kind of hysterical, that like Warner Brothers, who I think I forget which network they own, that they could produce a show and then it'll be on ABC. And it's just weird. You would think that because it aired on, I think Fresh Prince aired on NBC. Actually, I don't even remember what it aired on.
It did on NBC.
On NBC, yeah. But they didn't own it. It's who produced it and everything. So yeah, that's where things get really weird. And that's why sometimes not having an audio description title gets complicated, because it does come down to a lot of times, well, who's responsible for producing it? Is it the production house?
We have now moved from the streaming wars to the producer wars.
That's next, exactly. And we do need to get audio description as an Academy Award category. That's when Hollywood will start taking it seriously. Speaking of the NBC, I kind of like that they're going to be calling their streaming service Peacock and everything. And
I don't think that name's going to stick.
Well, that's what they're known as, the Peacock, NBC.
Oh my goodness. I just...
You didn't know that?
We'll do it in 2020 when we're refreshing on this. Mark my words, that name is not going to stick.
Do you feel that the use of animal names for businesses, franchise, sports teams is offensive?
The vegans have an issue with the streaming.
Well, it was a choice between Peacock or the bird of many colored feathers broadcast system.
Well, yeah, it's their symbol. I get it. But I just think I still find it an odd choice.
They've been known as the Peacock for long before the three of us have been podcasting.
For some reason, that doesn't make me feel any younger.
And as if it's not enough, there is one more streaming service coming in 2020, Discovery/BBC. So talk about an interesting combination. This is one I can't see me signing up for, but how about yourself? Are you looking forward to those nature shows with British voices, Serena?
No, not at all. That one doesn't interest me at all. That is a really random combination. Although BBC shows, they are good. I mean, there's some like Killing Eve sounds like I haven't watched it because it's not described, but my husband says it's like one of the best shows he's ever watched, and it's a BBC show.
Arrow.
That was an odd one. I was a little surprised about that. Well, what about yourself there, Jeff? I know you're the outdoorsman type, so Discovery could be something that's right up your alley.
Well, what I really see a lot of this doing is everything is breaking off and segregating itself into certain pockets and stuff as we know it.
Jeff, never good to segregate. Never good. You said segregating. I just thought that was a poor...
If I wasn't offended by it, then you shouldn't be.
Well, I'm the politically correct one. Okay. My bad. Continue, Jeff.
Racism doesn't own
It's an
it.
accurate... that means more than just, separate but equal.
I was just trying to be politically expedient, but go ahead.
By them being segregated, everything is being divided up and isolated in one area. As we know cable TV today, we used to just be able to go through and go to ESPN, go to here. But right now, they're finishing up these licenses, and you won't be able to find the Marvels on some of your cable networks. You won't be able to find National Geographic possibly, or, because that's Disney now. And it's just the rebuilding the environment that we're going to be looking into. We're going to have to make choices, and it's coming because cable networks are not the producers of the shows as much as you may want to think they are. It's not the cable anymore. Everything is going to streaming, and that's where the money is right now. The big companies, big money, and I don't see Comcast, Spectrum producing shows to try and compete with this.
Actually, you're wrong, because Spectrum, talk about watching TV the way your grandpa did. whether on cable, but now, every cable company has their own app for streaming as well. I have Spectrum Cable, and Spectrum is producing original content. They did a show called LA's Finest, which was a female version of Bad Boys, which I did not watch, but Mad About You is returning for, I believe, 10 episodes, and it's being produced by Spectrum, and because I'm a Spectrum subscriber, that is something that I will be able to watch. Of course, it won't have audio description because Spectrum doesn't produce anything with audio description, but one cool thing that Spectrum has done, because when they were formerly Time Warner, their app...
Wait, before you discount everything I said there, everything is splintering off, so the cable companies, your Spectrum, your Comcast, will not have a big pool to draw from to fill their hundreds and 200 channels. That's what I'm saying.
I disagree totally. No, Jeff, the networks they're going to lose a handful of shows here and there, but the networks are still going to have plenty of shows, and the cable channels, plenty of shows.
I just think in the future, ABC, NBC, CBS will not be able to compete with the monsters of the new kids on the block nowadays.
Well, they already have trouble competing when you think about it. It's very rare that a network show wins an award now. It's all streaming or HBO or Showtime or Stars. I mean, I think this year the only show that won something was maybe Modern Family or something like that, Oh,
that show's been terrible for like 5 years, too. The cool thing, like I said, I was talking about Spectrum, and Spectrum, which was formerly Time Warner had horrific accessibility with their app. Now, Spectrum's app is phenomenally accessible. The play controls, everything is very easy to use. And the cool thing, as we were talking about earlier, Serena, I've been watching Mad About You because the entire series is streaming in the Spectrum app. I don't even have to go to the Spectrum app because I have it linked up through my Apple TV app. I just go into the Apple TV app, and then under the Up Next, it's the next episode. Or I could do a search in the Apple TV app, just say Mad About You. It pulls up the entire series, and it realizes because Spectrum and Apple have partnered that it'll just launch it and start playing in the Spectrum app and everything. So I like these companies that are playing nice together, and being able to access everything through the Apple TV app is very user friendly because that app is very accessible, and being able to play anything on any of the networks through the Apple TV app, launching it through there works perfectly well as well. Jeff, I know you're a Comcast guy, and you were actually able to get described video for some of the tracks, and that was the one thing that Spectrum does not offer is zero described video, even if they aired on network TV with described video.
Yeah, it's pretty easy with Comcast, Xfinity. There's an app called Stream. Every day that is being used in this house. I hear when I wake up, the news is going on it off Lori's phone every morning, the local news. It's really good. It's kind of like old time radio, but I think it's very accessible, and the AD, I went in there and I just double tapped and turned it on, and there it was. We did a test with, what show was that you wanted to find out? Season 4?
We actually, and this is something that Hulu could learn, and this is the good job that Comcast is doing. We played This Is Us, and that episode had aired 2 days ago, and already on Comcast it was streaming with the audio described track, which I thought was really cool on Comcast's part.
Yeah. So I really like Stream. It's really easy, user-friendly. Once you know the pattern, where to go, what you want to do. Just like anything else, you want to investigate it for a little bit, but very good job by Comcast on their Stream app.
Now, I'm sure, I don't know, can Comcast sync up through the TV app like I'm able to do, where I could just go to the Apple TV app, or do you have to go to the physical Comcast app to start playing titles and search for titles?
Yeah, that would be great if Comcast would do that with Apple, because right now when I open up my Apple TV app, on the phone it's called TV, but when I open it up, I can get on my Prime Video, and if I swipe down further, there's CBS, there's ABC, PBS, and a few more, stuff that I didn't expect to see. So what a nice way to really draw this all together and make it one hub, one app, and boom, there I go.
Yeah, and it might just be Spectrum for cable networks, because I know Spectrum and Apple partnered on that. So, Serena, what are you using for your old school cable? Are you Dish or DirecTV?
We have DirecTV, and I was just thinking through, I know the DirecTV app is accessible, but I honestly haven't even tried to play things to see if they have the audio description, because we have had to record things on demand, maybe when our DVR kind of messed up or whatever and didn't record something. And typically when we pull something from the on-demand library, there's no audio description track. So I am kind of curious. I'll play around with that and see. Yeah,
and the on-demand tracks on Spectrum don't have described video, but I know Jeff and Serena will be happy to hear when I record something on my TiVo, it also records the audio describe track if there is an audio describe track. So little love for TiVo there.
With all the audio description that is being released on day one right now, and the depth that Disney has gone to make sure that they're backtracking and doing that, and even the Amazon Prime, how they're backtracking and making sure that the seasons before get audio described, we're in a good spot. This is like, when your kids come home from Halloween and they have all those candy and you have to go through it to make sure it's safe. You get to tax it a little bit, but the pickings are so good right now. We're in good times with audio description and this new revelation of the streaming services, the streaming wars.
When are we going to work? Because I have to go get caught up on all the shows I'm watching.
You could just watch them at work. Side note, I am not streaming Disney Plus when I'm at work. But no, I actually can't stream TV shows while I work because I'm good at streaming music.
Are you streaming Netflix while you're at work?
I can do that. But if I have a show playing, even if it's something I've already seen, I will stop what I'm doing and pay attention to that. So I really, truly don't.
Yeah. I have to lock in.
I do too. I can't. It's either work and I do work from home. So I normally don't turn my TV on until about 7 o'clock.
I can't even concentrate what I'm doing, even if I just have one AirPod Pro in.
Is it true that Blind Tech Show added a third member to the AirPod Pro PAL program?
That is true. We had to vote on it. I second the motion.
I firsted it, I guess. So welcome to the club,
Serena. How do you second it before you first it?
What's that?
I said, how did he second it before it was firsted?
We went back in time.
I entertain a motion to include Serena Gilbert to the AirPod Pro Pals Club.
I thought it was AirPod Pro Pen Pals.
Yes. So
wait. Whoa. If you guys ever listen to the podcast we put out, it was the AirPod Pro Pals Club.
But I just changed it. I first the motion. Serena, do you second it? AirPod Pro Pal program.
No, that's not even close to what I said.
Program.
I said AirPod
Pen
Pro
Pal.
Pen Pals.
My pen pal.
I don't know. I thought that's what you said last time.
No, it was just AirPod Pro
Pals.
Pals.
Okay. Well, I'm part of the
AP3.
AirPod Pro Pals Club.
And what are your thoughts on the AirPod Pros so far?
I really, really like them. They are way more comfortable. I don't feel like they look as goofy because the stem's so much shorter. It doesn't go like way past your ear, I really, really like the transparency mode because I walked around downtown Denver with them just on today. Not playing any music or anything, but I use iRed for a little while with them, things like that. The noise canceling takes a little getting used to. Like I would say it's more noise reducing than noise canceling personally. But it takes a little getting used to. Maybe they're not fitting
your ears correctly. Then,
no, there is a significant difference. You can tell for sure, and it's definitely doing something because that you can feel kind of the pressure a little bit when you do the noise canceling, and then when you turn it off, you're like, whoa. Maybe it was.
One cool thing to try with the AirPod Pros is Microsoft Soundscape. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I bet that would be cool. Yeah,
check that out.
No, I'm definitely a fan of the AirPod Pros. I really, really like them, and kind of worked out really nicely for us because since my husband upgraded his phone, he begrudgingly got rid of the headphone jack. So I gave him my old AirPod whatevers, the first generation of them, and then I got the new ones.
Did you clean them before you gave them to him?
I did not clean them before I gave them to him, but he cleaned them.
Okay. Well, that's a statement. Wow. Chuck, what's up with that?
I was like, what are you doing? He's like, cleaning these.
Shrek.
Don't want to know.
Maybe you are a big ear wax buildup person.
Well, that's what bodies do.
That's very true.
It's a line of defense, Brian.
It is. So we're getting closer to that turkey day where Chuck will be smoking a turkey, which I now know that's not literal. But Serena, what do you have going on leading up to Thanksgiving?
Just Thanksgiving, and then our next project that we're going to work on here in the house is down in our family room was pre-wired for surround sound. So we will finally actually be upgrading that. We're going to be shopping for equipment, hopefully on Amazon.
Sonos, big fan of the Sonos speakers.
Well, we need the in-ceiling ones because it's pre-wired, so we can't just do like the regular ones. So we'll
move to a new house. It's probably easier.
Bose.
No, it's pre-wired.
Bose is overpriced. Pre-wired. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yes, I'm really excited to get that installed and just Because I was telling my husband and my son, like, having these speakers is like a sighted person getting a brand new 4K TV. Like,
yeah. That's very true.
yeah.
It is.
But the only problem is there's not a lot of content out there nowadays to watch with those great speakers.
You know what's funny, though, that I noticed with Disney Plus is all of their stuff said 5.1 surround sound on it.
Oh, and one other thing I noticed about the Disney, did you hear about the disclaimer that they have for a lot of their older movies?
I know they took some scenes out of some things.
No, they put a disclaimer in a lot of them that says that characters back then were not as we, talk about people.
Correct.
Yeah,
Politically
yeah.
correct.
They had a statement to a lot of their older titles.
I did see that some of the titles are rated like, some of them say they're rated G, but then like in some random place it says that there's like tobacco use or reference to tobacco or something. I'm like, what? Okay.
Well, Song of the South is not in the library.
What's Song of the South? I never heard of it.
Is that the Lady and the Tramp song?
No, that's the guy.
Because they took a Lady and the Tramp song out too, from what I've been told.
Well, you remember the one with zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day?
Yeah.
They removed that
How
song?
do you take that song out?
No,
That's
they
such
took
a
the whole
classic.
show out.
Oh, I didn't know that was from a show.
The
I thought it was
overtones,
from, like, a movie.
were ridiculous. Which, if you really get, I don't think you can even find it anymore.
Really?
I never knew that.
Oh, another fact here is on the Apple TV Plus, the audio description is built right into the Dolby Sound. That's what's really nice
that's
when
really
you're
cool.
listening,
Yeah.
because it's just a clean sound.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing with audio description I've noticed sometimes when it's done really bad, where the audio description is either so much higher or lower than the main volume that you keep adjusting the volume.
NBC's notorious for that. Yeah. Or they'll have the audio description come out of the left speaker and the regular audio come out of the right, which
I've seen it
horrid.
switch. I've seen it switch like to middle and then to the left, and you're like, your head is ping-ponging.
They definitely do some strange things with audio description.
Yes.
But so Jeff, what do you got coming up? Have you locked down those Thanksgiving plans? Because I believe in the last show you had no plans for Thanksgiving.
Well, the reason I actually started out saying my family, and then you interrupted about Serena not inviting me out to Colorado.
Well, I'm known for interrupting. Serena, so what's going on with... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
Because of my mom's health and stuff like that, we were all indecisive and everyone's going to do their thing. So I got Thanksgiving and Christmas locked down now. But another thing I got coming up is next week I'll be heading to Toronto to visit Nick up there, but we'll be meeting not in Montreal.
I thought he lived in Montreal.
Yeah, I was getting there. Getting there.
I cut you off again.
Hey. So, yeah.
So Serena...
I'll finish this next week. But anyways, I will be going to AMI, which is Accessible Media Incorporated. It's part of Canada's network of radio shows. And Nick and I will be at the radio station, AMI. It's going to be really neat to see how they do their stuff, how this radio station is, and how they record, how they... it's live, so it's going to be interesting to see that. And plus spend time in Toronto and meeting some other people that I know from their shows. I'm excited about it. A little time away. I think it's about, I don't know if it's a little south of Minnesota, technically. So it should be warmer. So we're talking sunglasses, sunscreen, and swimsuit, right? No?
I don't know what that means at all.
Just insert the crickets there, Jeff.
Oh,
You'll be
man.
all right.
Yeah. I have added another travel stop. I actually have to go to West Virginia a week from tomorrow and I don't know if I've ever been to West Virginia. I can't imagine I have. And
Is it a one-way ticket?
No, but it seems to be the one place in the world that you can't get a direct flight to from New York City, as I'll have to fly to Charlotte first. And flying there for one night and just for a business meeting, big corporate event that could be leading to some web accessibility risk management stuff, which I can't talk about fully yet, but we'll see. So meeting the entire potential team at their yearly shindig, and that should be interesting. What's even more interesting is I fly there on a Friday, fly back on Saturday, and then fly to Florida on a Monday. So that's going to be a hectic few days and everything. Yeah, it's just a lot of traveling. So we all have extremely busy schedules coming up, and I'm sure we'll be putting in a little bit of time watching some of these fantastic streaming services, but not to worry, because we'll be coming back at you before you know it sometime during this holiday season. But for now, we are out.
Be sure to follow That Blind Tech Show on Twitter at Blind Tech Show, and drop us an email at thatblindtechshow@gmail.com. And be sure to enable the Blind Abilities skill on your Amazon device just by saying Enable Blind Abilities. I want to thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations and the realities of blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.